Have you ever been doing some sort of outdoor sport or outdoor activity and somebody falls down and gets hurt and somebody makes a suggestion for them to seek medical help and the person that's hurt denies it or says no thanks, I'll wait and see how I feel in a couple days? But most of all, to say no thank you because I don't have medical insurance. Or have you ever called a friend on the phone because you haven't talked to them in a few days or you haven't seen them in a few days, and they say, yes, I've been sick for the last 4 or 5 days, and you ask them, have they been to the doctor? And they say, no, I haven't. I was hoping that my illness would pass by. And besides, I can't afford health care, or I don't want to go to the doctor because I don't want to get stuck with an outrageous medical bill. We live in the best country in the world and still don't have basic medical coverage for our citizens. A report done by Elizabeth Letersky states that 45,000 deaths per year because there's a lack of medical care for our citizens. And Stephen Pascal's journal, Security of Expectation and Freedom of Choice in Healthcare, writes that most low-income workers are not insured because they can't afford medical coverage. Many do not go to the doctors, or they postpone going to the doctor because they have fear of getting stuck with a medical bill that they cannot afford to pay. The basic need for healthcare is simple. Citizens should have to live in fear of getting hurt or sick, and they shouldn't have to gamble on becoming better after getting hurt or sick because they can't afford medical care. Many with problems do not seek medical help, and sometimes their health condition gets worse, and sometimes death occurs. In the journal Health and Human Behavior, Health Needs Status and Subscription to Healthcare, writes that if an employee is medically insured by their employer, if they were to lose that job, they're not going to seek medical insurance anywhere else because they can no longer afford to pay because they don't have any income coming in. Healthcare should be available to individuals and families that need it. It's better to have access to medical care and not need it than to need it and not to have it. Obamacare misses the mark when it comes to free healthcare. Number one, it's not free, and number two, insurers raise premiums on it and also out-of-pocket costs like copays and co-insurance. Many people are for healthcare for all, but some are against it for a few reasons. One reason being is that they think the government is way too big and they shouldn't have their hands in everything, and they don't want the government controlling their medical care. The next reason is that many people don't see healthcare as a civil right, but everybody has a right to be healthy and everybody has a right to get healthy. The next reason is, just like the VA has free medical care for this country's veterans and how Canada has free medical care for its country's citizens, there's complaints of long wait times to medical access. But hiring consultants and other medical officials will make the process of gaining medical access efficient and very beneficial. A solution to helping our citizens gain medical access would be to cut back on military spending and use that money to cultivate a way for basic medical health care. In the Journal of Peace Research called Military Spending and Inequality, states that when there's an increased military spending, social programs like healthcare and education are neglected. In the staff papers, The Peace Dividend, Military Spending, Cuts, and Economic Growth, shows that there is a correlation of high military spending and poor medical coverage in the countries of Northern Africa, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. A study conducted by the National Priorities showed that in 2015, the federal government used 54% of its budget on the military. Implementing this medical care will theoretically give people a chance to be healthier, have a better quality of life, and a longer life expectancy. Citizens in Canada and other countries where medical care is available to all the citizens, that country's citizens benefit vastly from this. Imagine how a family and individual would feel knowing they can go to the doctor and receive medical care and not get stuck with the financial burden of paying off a bill. Imagine being able to seek medical attention right away instead of waiting to see if it passes, or you wait till you're on deathbed before you go to the doctor. In order to make this happen, we need the country's citizens to go out and vote, vote, vote. We live in a country based off democracy, which is for the people. This will be on the ballot in the next election. So when you vote for your next candidate, vote for healthcare that will not just benefit you, but also the nation's citizens. Studies show that there is a trend in voters that vote against their best interests. So when you vote, vote for what's the best interest for the common person.